People remember what you say. The truth is, people remember what you say, especially when it's careless, cruel, or foolish. Think about it. One bad sentence can go viral. One bad joke can cost you a job. One rude comment can end a relationship. One emotional outburst can destroy 10 years of trust. The real skill in life is not just knowing what to say. It's knowing when to say nothing. Silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. When you're angry, silence protects you. When you're confused, silence buys you time. When you're hurt, silence helps you heal before you speak out of pain. People think speaking up all the time makes them strong. No. Speaking with purpose makes you strong. Anyone can talk. Very few can communicate. Great leaders, great partners, great thinkers, what do they have in common? They listen more than they speak. They ask questions. They pause before responding. They don't fill silence just to avoid discomfort. They use their mouth like a surgeon uses a scalpel, not to cut everything, but to cut precisely. What you say also becomes what you teach others about you. If you constantly talk about what you hate, you will be seen as a negative person. If you always criticize others, people will assume you're insecure. If you gossip, they'll assume you gossip about them too. If your mouth is full of noise, people will tune you out, even when you're finally saying something important. But there's another layer to this. The words you speak to yourself matter just as much. The inner dialogue, the stuff you say when no one else is listening, sets the tone for your confidence, your mood, your mindset. If your mouth is always feeding your brain self-doubt, anger, or excuses, you're training your mind to expect failure. And eventually, you'll act like someone who's already lost. So, how do you control your mouth? First, pause before you speak. Don't let your emotions drive your mouth like a stolen car. Check in with yourself. Is this helpful? Is it kind? Is it NEC? Your mood is not just a feeling. It's a force. It can lift you or break you. It can make your day or ruin your relationships. And yet, most people treat their mood like the weather, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and always someone else's fault. That's the first mistake, believing that your mood is something that happens to you instead of something you're responsible for. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. And the way you respond defines your maturity, your discipline, and ultimately your destiny. Most failures don't come from a lack of intelligence or a lack of opportunity. They come from emotional decisions made in heated moments. People say the wrong thing, walk away from the right opportunity, or give up too early. Not because it was the right move, but because their mood made them impulsive. Emotions are real. They're human. But letting emotions control your actions is dangerous. Anger can make you aggressive. Sadness can make you retreat. Envy can poison your focus. Pride can blind you. And anxiety can freeze you. The people who succeed long-term are not the ones who feel less. They're the ones who have trained themselves to act through emotion, not on emotion. A person who can stay calm while others panic is not emotionless. They're emotionally trained. They've built a habit of checking themselves before reacting. They don't hand over the keys of their life to momentary feelings. They understand that moods pass, but decisions stick. Your mood also affects everyone around you. You may think it's personal, but moods are contagious. One bad attitude can infect a whole team. One emotional outburst can make everyone uncomfortable. One leader in a bad mood can turn a productive day into chaos. And the scary part is, most people don't even know they're doing it. They think it's honesty. It's not. It's recklessness disguised as authenticity. There's a time for being real, but being real doesn't mean being uncontrolled. Money is not just currency. It's a mirror. It reflects your discipline, your habits, your mindset, and your long-term thinking. People like to say, money isn't everything. And that's true. But here's the part they ignore: money touches everything. Your choices, your lifestyle, your freedom, your relationships, all are affected by how you manage money. The mistake many people make is thinking the solution to financial problems is more money. But if you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. If you're careless with 100, you'll be reckless with 10,000. The problem is rarely income. It's behavior. Wealth is not just about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and what you do with it. There's a reason why people who win the lottery often go broke. Their income changed, but their mindset didn't. They spent like they always did, emotionally, impulsively, and blindly. Money without control is not a blessing. It's a trap. Controlling your money starts with one word: awareness. If you don't know where your money goes every month, you're already losing it. Budgeting is not boring, it's respect. Tracking your spending is not a punishment, it's strategy. Most people avoid looking at their expenses because they don't want to face their own lack of discipline. But pretending money issues don't exist is the fastest way to stay stuck in them. Look closely at where your money flows. Are you spending out of habit or purpose? Are you trying to impress others or improve your life? Are you investing in things that grow in value, or wasting it on things that depreciate the moment you touch them? Impulse spending is one of the most dangerous habits in today's world. One click, one swipe, one treat yourself moment, and suddenly your budget is gone. Companies study human behavior so well that they know exactly how to make you spend without thinking. And if you don't have a plan for your money, someone else will. Learn to delay gratification. That's where FINA. The mind is the command center of your entire life. Every action you take, every word you speak, every choice you make starts first as a thought. If your mind is undisciplined, your decisions will be inconsistent. If your thinking is weak, your results will follow the same pattern. No one rises above the quality of their mindset. The problem is, most people never learn how to control their mind. They let it run wild like an untrained animal. They let every fear, every doubt, every insecurity take the wheel. They believe every thought that enters their head, even if it contradicts their goals. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, confused, and exhausted. Your mind is powerful, but it is programmable. It absorbs whatever you feed it. If you constantly feed it negativity, gossip, fear-based news, toxic conversations, and self-criticism, then don't be surprised when it produces anxiety, procrastination, and low confidence. Your thoughts don't exist in a vacuum. They shape your emotional and physical reality. The first step to controlling your mind is understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Just because your mind tells you you're not good enough doesn't mean it's true. Just because it says you'll fail doesn't mean you will. But if you let those thoughts sit too long, they will build a narrative, and that narrative becomes your identity. Train yourself to interrupt negative thinking. When your mind starts spiraling into worst-case scenarios, pause and ask, is this a fact or just fear? Most of the time, it's fear. Fear disguised as logic. Worry dressed up like realism. And if you let it live in your mind unchecked, it will build walls around your potential and call it protection. You must also become intentional about what you expose your mind to. Protect it like a fortress. Books, conversations, content, every input matters. Garbage in, garbage out. If all you do is scroll through chaos, drama, and distraction, your mind. Self-control is not about deprivation. It's about alignment. It's the ability to act according to your values instead of your urges. It's the gap between feeling and reacting. And what you do in that gap determines the kind of person you become. Without self-control, you're a slave to every emotion, every temptation, every distraction that passes through your day. People often talk about self-respect as if it's some kind of mystery, something you either have or don't. But the truth is, self-respect is something you build brick by brick, decision by decision. And the first brick is self-control. Because if you can't control yourself, how can you trust yourself? And if you can't trust yourself, how can you respect yourself? You can't separate the two. Every time you say you're going to do something and don't follow through, a part of your self-respect cracks. Every time you choose short-term pleasure over long-term purpose, you send a message to yourself: my word doesn't matter. My discipline doesn't matter. My goals don't matter. And over time, that message becomes your belief. Self-control means saying no when it's hard, not because someone told you to, but because you told yourself to, and you actually listened. That's what creates internal power. That's what builds integrity. The feeling of knowing you could indulge, but you chose not to, not because you were forced, but because your mission mattered more than the moment. Look at anyone with high self-respect, someone who carries themselves with quiet strength, who doesn't need validation, who keeps their head clear and their standards high. That's not confidence from ego. That's confidence from consistency. They've earned their self-respect by keeping promises to themselves that no one else even saw. Discipline behind closed doors shows up in public self-worth. The workouts you do when no one's watching. The temptations you resist when no one would know. The effort you give when it would be easy to quit. That's WHE. In conclusion, when you learn to control your mouth, you protect your relationships and your reputation. When you control your mood, you protect your peace and your decisions. When you control your money, you protect your future. And when you control your mind, you protect everything. Mastery begins from within. You don't need more luck, more followers, or more noise. You need more self-leadership. Discipline is not about restriction. It's about alignment. Every area of your life improves when you stop reacting to the world and start responding from clarity. This world will try to pull you in every direction: anger, distraction, doubt. But your job is to stay rooted. The greatest power is not found in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. People admire strength, but they trust control. Control your words, your emotions, your finances, your thoughts, and you begin to build something unshakable: self-respect. That's the foundation of real success. Not the applause, not the spotlight, but the ability to walk through life steady, sharp, and grounded in who you are, no matter what the world throws your way. Because if you don't lead yourself first, nothing you lead will last.